All right. Two more minutes.
Hi, guys.
Here's all right.
Hey, Ginger, can you hear
Hey,
me?
can you hear me? Can you see me?
Yeah.
Okay, I can't see anybody but Peter.
Well, the rest of us are here.
Okay, I can see the other guys.
But can you hear us?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay.
Got about a minute, we'll start.
Oh, I thought this was a meeting via Zoom.
It is, we just elected to come in here because we have some issues at our own house. So, yes.
Okay, Kenny, if that's you talking, you were really garbled.
Am I garbled now?
No, that's much better.
We might need to call in on the phone then.
Yeah. So, Ginger, can you hear me all right now?
I can, but you're really soft.
I've never been accused of that.
That was much better. I think I
Okay.
can work with that.
All right, well, I'll use you as my gauge. If you don't hear me very well, please just stop me and I'll try to speak up.
Fair enough. Thank you.
Jesse, you there?
Yes, I'm here.
All right, thank you. All right, well, I'll call to order the Tree Protection Board, January 11th, 2021. First order of business is to approve the minutes from December 7th. Does anybody have any corrections to those minutes?
Nope.
Hearing none, do I have a motion to
I'll
accept?
move I'll move that way.
I'll
Approve the
second
minutes?
that.
All right, second by Ginger. All in favor, say aye.
All right.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Just a little information we get going on each of the applicants. We'll just do a roll call vote. So individually we'll vote on it. It's all right with everybody? Our first order of business, our old business is gonna be 115 Guilford Drive. Is the landowner on
Yes, hi,
Zoom?
good morning. This is Kelly.
Good morning. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Okay. Just do everything officially. You just want to go through real quick again what you are trying to do in your backyard?
Yes, sure, absolutely. We are going to be putting in a 16 by 36 foot pool with decking around the whole thing, which also flows into the patio that comes directly off of the back of the screen porch, as well as a sand volleyball court and then a 6-foot privacy fence and a fire pit.
Okay. We were able to visit the site last week. The committee, they made some observations on their own. Does anybody want to discuss what they think about the actual request? I mean, probably in particular, what trees we feel like can go. Don,
We can barely hear y'all.
can you hear me now?
That's better.
Okay. Again, I'm looking for some comments or observations from the board members on the property and the request. Probably more in particular, the actual trees that they felt like could be removed based on the request.
Well, we all have a list of what we looked at, observed. We made some changes from the last time. We moved the volleyball court a little bit to save a tree or two. So I have a list here of numbers that I suppose the most appropriate thing to do would make a motion out of it, because this has always been rather, involved because there've been so many trees involved and so many different decisions. So Kenny, if that's what would be best to get this started, shall I do that?
Yes, sir. Go ahead through the trees that you feel like you would approve.
Okay, I have, these are all the tree numbers to be removed. 3, 8, 5, 7, 12, 17, 26, and 30. And I'll make that a motion and we can discuss that, I'm sure. So that's, my motion is that those trees be approved to be removed.
Peter, one more time, just so everybody's got that. Would you go through those numbers one more time?
Certainly. 3, 8, 5, 7, 12, 17, 26, 30. There was discussion about tree number 6 with Bill about, that's the one that's could be too close to the pool, and when excavation begins for the foundation around the side of the pool, if it looks like serious root damage will occur, that tree additionally be removed. But that was pending observations during the construction.
One comment I have to the number. Yeah. That would be the only addition that I would say. Stand by, we're trying to get the voice working.
Did it say on the phone, Bill?
Yeah, it says you mashed *6 and I mashed *6.
Okay.
All right, so let's go back to where we were then. All right, y'all can hear us okay?
We can hear you now.
Okay,
Yes.
okay. All right, you can continue. That's fine.
All right, so we're back up. Everybody hear us?
Yes,
Okay, so Peter had mentioned the numbers, tree numbers. And I think the discussion here was that there's one tree possibly that we left out. We found disease was 23. That was my observation. I'm not sure what everybody else had on theirs.
I have a notation to some question about 23, yes. But it was not, I didn't have it on my removed list, but it was obviously discussion and we can certainly entertain that if we pass, if we second the motion and add that in, right? Or is,
Well, we're still in discussion. We're just trying to get the before motion, just make sure the numbers are.
right.
Um,
Well, if you all recall that rather firmly, then I will add 23 to the motion.
All right, Ginger, David, anybody else have a comment?
I'm good with that list that Peter just listed with the addition of 23.
So I'm not sure if you heard Faye or David, the question, all the numbers were fine, except was just a question about number 6, whether it stays or goes. It was close to the edge. And I think one of the options was to allow Bill the ability to approve it if, once they start cutting the footings, if that's going to be an issue. Or because of the proximity, we can add that to the list now as a removal.
As a possible removal.
As a possible removal based on, well,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. And add 23 and that's the motion.
All right, so the
Yeah, I-
motion, can I move on to the motion on the, right now is for tree 3, 5, 7, 8, 12, 17, 23, 26, and 30 to be permitted for removal, and number 6 will be allowed if Bill feels at some point during the construction process that's being impacted. Is that fair, Peter?
Yep.
Okay, do I have a second? David,
I'll
second?
second that.
Okay. Any more discussion? All right, roll call. Peter Walsh, aye or nay?
Aye.
Kay Campbell? Ginger Riley?
Aye.
David Morris? And I also vote aye, so the motion passes. Kelly, you have any questions for us?
Since it's my first time going through this, how do I receive the permit? How does this work?
You'll get the permit emailed to you. I'll take this here and put it all in the permit. And then Pam will be emailing you the permit and your tree company also a copy of the permit.
Okay, great. I appreciate that. And that usually takes what, about a week or so?
No more than that, usually just a few days.
Okay, great. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Bill, question for you. Will you be going out there and making sure the flags are in the right place, or have we left them in the right place?
I'll go double check on that.
Okay.
Any more discussion on the phone?
No?
Second item, road business is 205 East 6th South Street. Is the property owner on Zoom?
I am here. Good morning.
Good morning. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How about you?
Fine, thank you.
Awesome.
All right, so after our meeting the other day, it looks like you have changed just a couple things here as far as the driveway goes?
I did. Did you have the opportunity to look at the latest and greatest that came from my designer? I uploaded it about 20 minutes ago. Or do you have the one that I penciled in? Which one are
We
you
have
looking
the
at?
one that's penciled in.
Okay, if you can view the portal, I did have the opportunity to upload the latest into the portal. It's the same thing, of course, but it's just, in digital format versus, penciled in there. But you're correct. We did have the opportunity to look at the site once more, and my designer and I agreed to alleviate the driveway that's on the right-hand side. If you're standing to the road there, the right-hand side. So we're just going to have one driveway coming in. That's going to be on the left. So that's going to give us the ability to keep a lot more of the trees there in that area. Of course, that's one of our biggest concerns. So I think that kind of fixes it, kind of clears up a lot of things, and have a lot more trees going on there. And looks like we're just looking to remove the trees that's in the footprint of the house or that's affecting where the structure is going to be. And then ultimately the driveway on the left.
Okay.
Well, that sure does fix a lot of things, doesn't it?
It does.
Wow. It saves some really good trees too. We appreciate that
Yeah,
very
it
much.
really does.
All right, so what I understand from what we looked at the other day, trees that are in the footprint or close to the edge of the driveway, to the building, are the trees that obviously need to be removed. Just a quick question about at the driveway, the 14-inch pine, just for the property owner and for the committee, was that one we discussed? I know the it was close to the footing for the driveway. But
Yes.
So does anybody have any comments on that?
Well, I thought we just said we weren't going to bother worrying about it. I thought Mr.
Wade,
also, I'm sorry, thank you, said also he wasn't interested in having to remove them at this time.
that is
That's
what
my
I said.
recollection.
Yes, that is correct, but that's prior to us coming up with this other driveway option. So in this case scenario, we are wanting to take that 12-inch oak, that 14-inch pine, and of course that 16-inch pine. Those three there on the left, because again, we're just using one driveway, so we want to make sure it's adequate enough as far as the width.
I'm trying to find, I have this on my phone, so I'm having a little trouble finding a 16-inch pine. I see the 12 and the 14. I remember them distinctly because I pulled the flags off them. Where is
Yeah,
the
the 16 is right behind the 14.
I don't have that on my map either.
I think that shows on what you submitted.
Yeah, is there any way that the board members can access the drawing in the portal?
I'm trying to get it up on my pad and I can't get it up on my pad. And I'm trying, but I'm not.
Okay.
I mean, I told you this needed to be in Friday, so for us to have it in this, for this meeting, and it's,
Well, the marked up copy was in on Friday, the marked up copy, but as
we have
far
that
as
in front of us. We have that in
okay,
front of us.
well, you should see that that 16-inch.
There is no 16-inch pine with the 14-inch pine and the 12-inch oak on my map, and I've got the penciled in drawing.
Let me take a look here.
There's one on the original.
Yeah, that's the one I'm referring to. Yes, there.
That's on the large original.
I
Large
see that,
copy
but
you
on the
gave us.
large one, on that one, there's no 14-inch or 12-inch.
Right, tandem, right.
So we've got maps with different trees on it again.
So on the original drawing, the 16-inch pine was always there, okay? What we added on the marked up drawing was the 14-inch pine and the 12-inch oak.
We see the 16-inch, now it's just very small as a print that we have, so it's just above the 14-inch as you indicated on the original plan. Okay. I'll just give my observations of what I saw the other day. I mean, based on where the flagging was for the house and the driveway on the left-hand side, those trees, I mean, obviously need to come out. I don't think we can get any of the buildings that's out there based on the contours of the property. So I personally would not have any problem with the trees along the driveway in the footprint. And I think there was at least one dead tree or diseased tree on the property line on the left-hand side away from the footprint that I think we all observed that day. That would not be a tree that we want to be kept.
Right, I agree.
All right, so Ginger, Faye, David, any comments on that, what we saw?
And there were a couple of significant trees close to the foundation. That you're trying to form a motion.
Yeah,
I walked there and we flagged them together. I personally have no problem, particularly in view of the right-hand side, the center and right-hand side of the property.
Peter, we can't hear anything you're saying.
You cannot hear me?
Now we can hear you.
Okay, roger that. I guess I can't look at the thing at the same time. I don't know why. It was working before. So I have no problem with the 16. There's anything in the footprint we already agreed on. We helped flag them. There were a couple of trees, one unfortunately massive oak on the back side of the property that was way too close to the foundation. And we approved that by putting a flag on it. So I have no objections. The only comment I'd like to make is that, and once again, I do appreciate, Mr. Ward, your acting in that way for whatever multiple reasons, the trees being saved there will be a significant addition to the appearance of your property, in my view.
Yes.
Those are some really massive, nice big trees, and they were going to suffer just by virtue of the things coming down around them. So if nothing else, my concern, anything I have about anything with this would be simply the felling of the trees in terms of making sure to protect those that are going to remain standing. And that's a tough terrain. Getting that wood out of there is going to be difficult too, without the possibility of injuring some of the trees that are being saved. Particularly now, you only have one way out.
That's correct.
Anyhow, that's my. So I would just wish that you be sure that contractor is careful. We've seen contractors before who have not been so. Other than that, I have no objections to anything there that you just described.
And Peter, I'm glad you added that point. But what I did do as well, I have 2 construction driveways in there. Knowing that there was a tight area for the one, we do have a second construction driveway only for construction purposes on the right-hand side, far right by the property line, to be able to get, those trees that are being taken out, to be able to get them out safely without harming any of the other trees that's to remain.
That's a good idea. Good.
I think David Has a motion to make.
Oh, is that a request?
I couldn't hear what was being said.
I can,
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the trees that were marked on the map that were within the footprint of the house. And with the amendment of the driveway and not having the drive on the right side, approve the additional trees, 14-inch pine and the 12-inch oak, the 16-inch pine, where the new drive is going to be.
A second. I second it. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
All right. What's your vote? Aye or nay?
Are you, boy, you guys breaking up out there. If that's a request for aye, it's an aye.
That's right. Kay Campbell? Aye. Ginger Riley?
Aye.
David Morris? Aye. Also vote aye, so the motion passes. Ms. Morris, what's gonna happen too is Bill's gonna come back out there and actually flag all the trees, make sure there's no question.
I'm sorry. I'm having a horrible time hearing you guys. I apologize.
Oh, well, so you're not alone.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Okay, I was just saying as a caveat, Bill is gonna be coming back out there to flag the trees.
Okay.
Kind of just so make sure there's no question about it and that should be very quick and painless. So just
Yes.
let you know that's gonna happen, okay?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And Bill, if you want to give me a shout when you're heading that way, I could probably meet you out there, but I did flag those this weekend as well.
all right, I'll go double check what they approved and have only flags on what's approved.
Yes, sir.
What about this pine tree that is there where he says something about this construction driveway? That pine tree seems to be, from our drawings, looks like it could be endangered.
No, ma'am. That construction driveway is to the far right. You see that property line? I think it's identified as L2 right there. That construction drive is on that far side where there is no interference with any trees or whatsoever. Just some underbrush that we had to kind of knock down. So we're fine. We're not by any trees, and Bill can verify that when he goes on site.
I think I saw it yesterday when I was coming from somewhere and it looked like almost like a survey line where you had to put the rock in there.
That is correct.
I mean, obviously, I think you're gonna have to put some structures around the base of trees that are close by during the construction process anyway to protect them. I think that's part of the permit process.
Yeah, you won't get a permit to do anything until you get your tree protection up on your remaining trees that are being saved.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. So that should take care of that right there. All right, we appreciate your time.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Mr. Ward.
Okay, new business, 629 Alwyn Boulevard, removal of 11 pine trees. Is the property owner with us today? I think he mentioned he might not be, so. All right, does any board member want to share their observations for that piece of property?
Well, we can do it the way we did last time. We have a list of 1 through 11.
That would be fine, Peter, if you want to do that.
Everybody did their own when we were there, and there's some trees that definitely need to be left. Shall I put it that way? You can't take all the trees down, I don't believe. Anyhow, I have a list of mine that says number 2. That was the main root source to the above ground root source toward the house. I think everybody probably figured that one could really go. Number one, its only problem was sending a root to the neighbor's yard, which was way far enough away from the tree to be severed and pruned and not be an issue for anybody. Granted, it's an issue for mowing grass. It's amazing how some sites allow the roots to be on the surface for soil reasons, I'm sure. But we can't take them all out because they got the roots on them. At least I don't think so. Number 7, for sure. And I think I'm not going in order here, I'm sorry. Number 3, I'll go 2, 3, 6, and 10 are what I'm comfortable with now. Let me get the pictures up, but that's all I have right this minute for my evaluation of the group of trees.
Why did you put number 6 in that category?
I can't hear very well. I'm sorry.
Faye was asking why number 6 was included. What was your observations on that as far as structure or location of the tree or anything?
I agree with everything you said.
What did she say?
She said she was in agreement with the other trees other than 6. She's just questioning why number 6. You picked number 6. Maybe you saw something the rest of us didn't.
I'll have to be honest and say that I do not have such a notation. And so I could have been flipping it with number 7 at the time. That's a possibility. So I will stand corrected. If no one else has anything about number 6, then I didn't see something that nobody else did, or I would have made a particular note of that.
Okay.
I'll withdraw number 6.
Well,
And I remember, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Peter. I'm sorry.
I just remember, and there's a lot of recommendations for thinning some branches, but that would be obvious to most anyone. A lot of dead branches need to be thinned out on all these trees. Otherwise, they didn't really present a problem other than providing a lot of pine needles and unfortunately some roots on the surface. 10 and 11, I was sort of a toss-up, but I ended up saying 10. That was the one that was leaning toward the other property, correct?
That's correct.
Yeah. Okay, I withdraw number 6. So it is 2, 3, and 10.
All right. And I will throw in just my observation quickly on number 9. I think, and correct me wrong, Dave, I think you mentioned that and saw this and the rest of us didn't. There was a large fissure up above.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
That you may not have seen. Ginger, you have any observations?
I agree with removing 2, number 3. And I've got the notation to remove number 9 because of the cat face on the side.
So then we could remove maybe 2, 3, 9, and 10.
I'm sorry, I couldn't understand what you said, Faye.
2, 3, 9, and 10.
Ginger, Faye saying 2, 3, 9, and 10. 10 being the leaning tree that is way on the side.
Yeah, I'm sitting on the fence on number 10.
Yeah,
but
me
if you all-
too. Me too. I'll swap 9 out for 10 more readily.
I didn't have any problem with, I didn't think the lean was that bad. And I can't pull it up on the pictures from Bill. I only go to number 9 on the pictures.
Okay, I would switch 9 for 10 because I felt the same way, Ginger. It's a healthy tree, it was leaning, wasn't leaning that bad. And if there was something significant there, we
Okay,
can't
there-
revisit. I will take your and David's word that there was a significant issue in terms of a fissure or cat face on that tree.
So my vote would be for 2, 3, and 9 to be approved to be removed.
Is that a motion?
Sure, I'd like to make a motion that 2, 3, and 9 be removed, be approved to be removed.
I'll second.
All right, Peter, second. Any discussion from the folks here in the room?
David, you good with that?
He asked if you had anything to
You were good.
discuss.
The only thing, I have one was so. Looking at the lane on 10, which I'm kind of on the fence on that also. But I'm good with it.
The only thing going back to number 10 is discussion. If you went to remove to help balance that tree and you take some limbs off to do it, obviously there's nothing on the other side of that tree. You know, and a lot of people would want to do that to protect their house and their neighbor's house. But it is definitely healthy. It didn't look like it was cut rooting. The roots were coming up or anything. But it's further, you know, it never straightened up. It still had that straight lean.
Right. You wanting to throw that in too? You feel? I'm looking at the picture now.
Well, I'll do this as an amendment to the second that I would like to include number 10 on there just because of Lean, what my observation, my notes that I have on here. So if I have a second for that, we can vote on that. If that doesn't pass, then we can move back to the original one. So
Is that the way it works?
I believe so. You go, the last motion goes first for a vote, and then you move back to the second one. Jesse, am I wrong about that?
No, you're correct, Kenny.
So you amend it after the first one is second. You can amend that.
Discussion, yes.
Correct.
Okay.
So the motion was to include number 10 with the other three. David seconded it. Any discussion on that before a vote?
Oh, yeah.
We'll vote on that motion then.
Well, I have one question. Are you there,
Sure.
Tim? Can you hear me?
Yes.
What was your biggest reason for wanting to include that?
Yeah, I felt by my notes that there was a significant lean, and if you wanted to take the weight off that tree, to take some limbs off, you could take more than you probably should, and what would be left on it. And maybe my observation is not spot on, but that's what I had written down.
Well, it was more bare. All of them are bare because they were left so close together. And taking out number 9, of course, will leave even more room for number 10 to move or whatever, and have no interior branches to catch wind, I suppose.
Yeah, also you move in and you start a wind throw issue, but I don't know if it's that bad in that particular lot.
No, but that's a theoretical possibility. That's all. So that's been seconded.
Then second, and Peter, you made that discussion on. Anybody else have any discussion? All right, we'll just vote on that particular motion then. Peter, how do you vote?
I vote no.
Okay. Faye?
Aye.
Ginger?
No,
David Morris? And I also vote aye, so the motion does pass. So we're going to allow 2, 3, 9, and 10.
Okay, now Kenny, you need to vote on the amended motion to allow 2, 3, 9, and 10.
That's what we just did.
No, you just voted to include 10 into the original motion. Now
Okay,
you need to vote on whether y'all approve 2, 3, 9, and 10.
okay, we'll go back through that. So, Peter, how do you vote on the motion?
The amended motion.
Yes.
Correct.
No.
Faye Campbell?
Aye.
Ginger Riley?
aye.
David Morris?
Fine.
And I also vote aye. So the amended motion does pass. That's correct, Jesse?
Correct.
Thank you. All right, so our second new business would be 201 Parkwood Drive, removal of one pine tree to, if I remember, accommodate a installation of a pool. Is there a property owner with us today? And I don't think they were going to be here today. Okay. Discussion from board members on it? Well, I guess I'll start then. I mean, it appears everything that they've done out there, they've tried to accommodate everything they can by that included moving power lines and looking at the lot size as far as trying to accommodate that tree, and it doesn't appear they can for the pool based on what they mentioned out there. And I know in their front yard they have some really big trees out there. So taking one tree out, in my opinion, although it's a very, very nice tree, is not that big of an issue. So that's just my observation.
Am I-
I have, go ahead.
I was going to ask the question, am I correct in seeing that that tree is in no way, shape, or form interfering with the pool structurally wise?
I think it was for the decking, please.
Yeah, but that decking is fairly flexible and they can move around that pine tree. It's going to be a pervious surface decking. And if you look on the map, it gets kind of wide and kind of goes right up to the pine, but you can kind of cut it short of that pine. What I heard from the owner was that he was most concerned about the leaves and the pine cones falling into the pool.
Okay, I don't think I heard that, but that's good.
Yeah, he said that. I'm on the fence with the thing only because he got so constrained by infrastructure creation. It was no fault of his own. And particularly, you know, that right away going to the old house in the back. I mean, that's right back through almost the middle of the yard. It bothered me a lot. But it would be safe from the pool construction, and it's a very nice, big, healthy longleaf, which in addition makes it a little bit worse because it's a little bit less frequent a tree, a lot less actually. So I was really, and still am on the fence with that one.
I see the drawing now, Ginger, and what you're saying. Realize right on the edge of that decking part. Do we know what that distance is, Bill?
I think he's going to put pavers in instead of concrete, and he was wanting to build a garage right in there too. He was talking about, but I don't know if he's applied for a permit for a garage yet.
That's a good point. I know he was wanting to extend the garage in.
He was wanting to
Well,
build
the
a
garage
garage.
should have nothing to do with this decision because it's only in the planning stages.
Right.
Yeah, okay, so since the comment was that he went from concrete to pavers, that does make a little bit of difference on that tree location now.
And he had to go from concrete to pavers to accommodate the garage that he was wanting. Now, I'm not sure if he's applied for the permit for the garage yet, but
Again, that's not something for our purview right now anyway then, but he can always come back at that point in time and ask for it if it's necessary.
He also did, and give him credit, voiced concern or interest in mitigation on the lower part of the lot. Bill was talking with him with that, I think. Right, Bill?
How's my boy?
Huh?
Yeah, he's gonna plant some oak trees along the property line to the left. He was talking about live oaks, but I'm not sure if it's gonna be that particular species. I mean, I would think, I mean, I can't remember how much that trunk of that tree is raised up as far as the, even using pavers, how much she's gonna lose because of that, sitting area wise. So just, Bill, the main reason he wanted that tree out is just for the decking part? Yeah.
If y'all are talking, we can't hear you.
I said, I'm kind of on the fence with Peter. He was kind of concerned because of the lot, and there's some other trees that are moving that power line.
David, I still can't understand you.
I said I was kind of on the fence with Peter about the lot constraints that have been imposed. And he does have other big trees on the lot. And he has already gone the expense to bury that power line, move it. So that's just kind of my thoughts on it right now. Can you hear me?
Yes, we
Yes.
heard that. Thank you.
I agree with David. He has done a lot. He was very cooperative, and it was good.
So Bill confirmed there's been no permit applied for the garage, so that's really off the table as far as our discussion today. Well, I'll make a motion, and somebody can amend if they want to. I make a motion that we allow him the removal of that tree. Again, it's based on the location and the fact that he has all the trees in the front yard, but we should require the mitigation that he's offered for, I'd say, 2 oak trees in the back along the property line for that tree.
I'll second it.
Okay, Peter seconds. Any discussion from anybody? All right, all in favor of these? Well, excuse me, Peter?
Aye.
Aye. Fay Campbell?
Aye.
Ginger Riley?
Nay.
David Morris? And I also vote aye, so the motion does carry. All right, so our last new business is to be 185 Bambert Street, removal of 2 pine trees. I guess Jessica will be pulling it up, but anybody have any on those 2 trees?
Well, there was one very big, healthy pine tree that needed some pruning, dead limbs and et cetera, leaning over the patio, and one right next to it had really bad form, it wasn't even a ramacorn. It was like a ramacorn with a tree with a leader. There was, it was just there. It was, I don't know how dangerous it was because they wouldn't fall on the house. As I recall, the leader is, get these photos up. The leader was, the ramacorn, if you will, was leaning away from the house, but I wouldn't have any problem having that smaller tree with a defect, significant defect in it coming out, but there was nothing wrong with that big tree, except it needed some cleaning up. I didn't hear.
Is the property owner?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Sorry to ask you first, but if you want to go through the reasons why you want to remove it.
Yes, sir. Because about 2 years ago, right before we bought the house, the original owners had a big old oak tree fall on the house. That they said that that tree wouldn't fall on that house either. And you can't really determine which way a tree's going to fall during hurricane season or storm weather. And my son's bedroom is within 15 foot of that tree, and I just think it's a danger to our household. And that's really about it.
Okay, thank you. Is there any more comments from the board? I would personally agree with the assessment that Peter made on the 2 trees. One definitely has been impacted. The other one is healthy tree. Selective pruning would certainly help that tree a lot. Anything else from anybody else?
I agree also.
Can't hear.
Faye and David said they agreed with your assessment, Peter, as I did.
Okay.
So I'm looking for a motion.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we recommend judicious pruning on number 2, I believe it is, right? The large tree, and allow for the removal of number 1. And that's it.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Faye made the second. Any discussion?
Well, the only thing I'd like to say is, and we hear this all the time, to the owner, that I understand. I have the same situation in my own house. You never know which way anything's going to fall, or whether it's going to fall or not. That's a pretty stout tree. It'd take a lot to snap that thing off. It's not going to fall. It would come out in portions. I just feel that it's such a difficult call. We're not required, I don't believe, to act on the potential for danger unless it's imminent. The tree is way too close to the house. There are defects, there's disease. This is a very healthy tree, and it's been there a while, and it's put up with a lot of stuff, and that's sort of what we have to gauge our decisions on. And I hope you understand that, at least to some degree.
All right, Peter, so your motion is to allow number 1 to go and number 2 to stay, right?
That's correct.
Okay. No other discussion?
Selective pruning on number 2.
Peter Wallace, how do you vote?
Aye.
Faye Campbell? Faye's an aye. Ginger Riley?
Aye.
David Morris? Aye. And I also vote aye, so the motion does carry the removal of 1 tree and 1 remaining. And one thing we would also let the landowner know while you're having that tree removed, if you have a person, an arborist, look at that other tree and they find something that we didn't note, then you can certainly come back to us and through Bill Salisbury, and that tree can be looked at again.
Okay.
All right, so that concludes new business. Is there any miscellaneous business we need to talk about?
No, I don't have.
Okay. Do I have a motion to adjourn then? Faye makes a motion to adjourn. Second it. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you,
Thank
Kenny.
you.
See you all later.
Okay.